Hello, beautiful people. It's Bonnie Gillespie at 12:01 Pacific on Tuesday, the 12th of November, 2019, live streaming to you at Facebook, I always say Instagram, and I can't, this doesn't go to Instagram. Restream hasn't created that experience yet, and it's actually not Restream's fault. Instagram has not allowed Restream to create that yet. But I am supposedly broadcasting over to YouTube and Twitter through Periscope and Facebook, but I just got an error message on my Restream chat, so let me reboot that because I won't be able to see your comments otherwise, and then this will be a pretty short broadcast because without interaction, I can probably get through all the stuff pretty quickly. And honestly, I'm going to do some more recordings, broadcasts not, recordings that will later be broadcast without the live interactivity part of things, because I have some topics that I know I want to cover that I want to just make super short and get to the point. And the interactivity, of course, always makes things go longer because I want to check on y'all and see how you're doing, and I want to see what you've got to say in the comments and get you catching me up on all the cool things going on in your lives. And of course, any questions that you have, I want to answer them. I'm Bonnie Gillespie. I'm the author of Self-Management for Actors. I will be live on these platforms every Tuesday at noon Pacific through the end of November. And then in December, we have a whole lot of things going on that'll have me going live way more frequently, but not on that same schedule. So if you are tuning in for the first time, welcome. I'm so glad to see you. I just had a quick little virtual meeting-ish sort of thing with our Facebook ads manager. She is genius, brilliant, wonderful. Her name is Susie, and I adore her because she recorded a video for me showing me the dashboard of our advertising thingamabobby, because I'm not allowed to go there. I'm not allowed to look at it. I'm not allowed to know what it looks like. I'm not allowed to engage with it. I'm not allowed to touch it. All I can do is celebrate when she does things like record this video for me in which she says, this is unicorn level good ad spend for cold traffic. So I don't know what that means except unicorn level good. It sounds like something I want to celebrate. I just got back from Phoenix, Arizona, where Keith and I were at a conference. Hi, Carlos. Glad you could join in. I'm showing you this because this is some swag from the conference. We were at LaunchCon, which is Jeff Walker's launch conference. And I'm not a launch person, but I went to this thing, and this is the cute little dude wearing a tie pen that is also a thing that writes on technology, like on your tablets or whatever. And then so you can do this, or you can write like a pen. Anyway, very excited about my swag, honestly. ULG new winning acronym, says Kimberly. Yes, unicorn level good. ULG. Let's make that trend. I love it. Yes. Thank you, Kimberly, for spotting that amazing new acronym. I was pretty excited. Like, for her to say that, I go, okay, that's good. She knows. She does this for a whole bunch of companies, and she knows what these dashboards usually look like. And so she was super pleased. Isn't it? Erin, isn't that adorable? I was like, completely, I left everything else behind because they gave us a big binder and notepads and things to hold business cards in, and there's just a lot of swag. And Keith and I are like in a decluttering phase like never before, and we're like, we're not taking the sippy bottle, we're not like, we don't need more crap. But I kept this, and I kept his too, so I have two of these. So I have one in here, and then there's one over at the shopping list in the kitchen. Anyway, today we are going to talk about what to do when your family is not supportive of your creative career. And if you got today's Bond Blast, you already know the story of my great Aunt Hetty, bless her heart, who up until she died in 2007, every single time we talked on the phone, I would get a, when are you going to stop this foolishness and come home? Which, of course, I find hilarious because by 2007, I had published multiple books. Self-Management for Actors, I was actually writing the third edition of Self-Management for Actors at the time that she died. So here we are, like, the empire is already growing. The seeds are planted. I was producing our massively successful Cricket Feet Showcase. I had been casting for 4 years at that point. I had had films that I had been a part of get into festivals and win awards. I had had clients win awards. I mean, like, that just was like, no, stop this foolishness of my like non-career. Like, this this is my career. And come home. Hilarious, because to her, home was Atlanta. And I'm like, Atlanta hasn't been home to me in a minute. So I mean, love Atlanta, but stop this foolishness and come home, Aunt Hetty. This foolishness is my life, and home is where I'm living right now. But thanks. But I think that we oftentimes will have people that we're related to, usually, and it can also be people that we're not related to that are just in our circle, our friend group, that mean well. They want to encourage us. They are excited about us going out and trying and living our dreams and doing the things that we say we want to do with our lives. But sometimes the support takes the shape of, oh, how much longer are you going to give this? And, at what point do you just decide this isn't going to cut it? And when do you get a real job? Do y'all ever hear anything like that? Hey, Melissa, I'm glad you could join in. Report in the comments. I know there's a little bit of a lag, so I'll take a moment. If you would please share in the comments, like what are some of the greatest hits, especially as we're headed into Thanksgiving here in the States, and of course Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all the holidays that are the end of the year. I know a lot of people are about to be traveling and putting themselves back in touch with these relatives and family members and friends that otherwise they don't have a ton of contact with. And I would love to know, like, what are some of the greatest hits? What are some of the things that have been said to you about your career choice and how things are going? I'd love to hear. Share in the comments. Kimberly says, I was doing an open rehearsal at an event just this week, and an audience member actually asked, do you make a living with this? Whew. I got to shake that one off. Yeah. Kimberly, that reminds me, I had probably in like 2004, 2005, I had started answering questions at Yahoo Questions. Do y'all remember Yahoo Questions? That may even still be a thing, but where people would put up questions at Yahoo and then you would go in and answer, and you would share a little bit about who you are so people would know why you had the cred to answer that question. And I had done a search of some actor questions and then would go in and explain, I'm Bonnie Gillespie. I have a weekly column. I have a few books. I have interviewed hundreds of casting directors, and here's my answer. And people would come back on my thread and say, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I just listed off all the things. And they're like, no. What do you do for money? What do you do for a living? And I was like, what a bizarre question. Do you make a living at this? What do you do for a living? What do you do for money? I'm like, I'm not all up in your business, but I think people get really curious about people who are in the arts. Let's see. Van says over at Periscope, when are you going to be famous? That is a good one. When are you going to be famous? Like, we've got a clock. We've got a schedule, we've got a map. We know exactly where we're going and when we're going to reach a certain destination. There's a GPS on fame, right? And we all know. Melissa says, I've never heard anyone say, when are you going to stop? But I get the look when I talk about it. Ooh, Melissa, the look. The like, yeah, the look. Damn. Katrina says, my pet peeve is when a loved one acts all surprised when I book something. Dang. Yeah. Like, be happy, but don't be surprised. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm over here doing this. Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one, Katrina. Kimberly says, a cast member responded that in artist dollars, he's a millionaire. Oh, yes. I love that. He's a millionaire. The intangible, non-cash life compensation that we get by living the life we live. Kimberly, amen. Good to that cast member of yours. Holy crap, that's a good answer. That's a really good, I call them dream points. Like, I am living on so many dream points, and I love it. I love the dream points. I love that every day is different. I love that I get to work with some of the most creative, brilliant, spectacularly charismatic, and cool people on the planet. I love that I get to pick up and take a week off and go to Phoenix for a conference that's about tech and launching, which is so a room full of not my people. And I get to just go do that because I built the business that allows me to take that kind of time and invest in new things for my own business. I love that I have the flexibility to do that sort of thing. I love that I have no hurry to get back home after a conference like that, where everybody else was like checking out on Sunday morning, carrying their luggage with them to the conference, because we still had the whole full day on Sunday, and then schlepping from the conference to the airport to catch flights Sunday night so they could be at work Monday. And Keith and I were like, we're staying at the resort another day. Y'all can hurry back. We're going to leisurely head back to the beach on Monday. And we took our time, and it felt great. And I love that I get to live my dream and have those kinds of things going for me. That, sure, the trade-off is I don't know where the next dollar is going to come from. I don't know what my financial picture is going to look like from one month to the next with as much predictability as someone who does have to fly back and go to a job. But I wouldn't trade it. I would not trade it. I love the artist life. I love the artist life. And that kind of brings me to what I want to talk about today with how to equip our family members to be more supportive, our relatives, our friends, anybody, an audience member, like how to equip them to be more supportive. Honestly, it's because they are very curious about an artist's life. It looks so different to them than anything that they've ever experienced. And so they've got a lot of questions about it. And they're also really, I don't want to say morbidly curious, but there is that morbid curiosity about fame. And even if what we're doing is not fame level work, and even if that's not our ambition, it's like, I don't need to be famous. I want to have impact, and I want to make a living doing my creative things. That's totally fine. In everybody's mind, they go to the most famous person they know. They go to the biggest train wreck they've ever heard of. They go to the scariest stories they've ever heard of, and they immediately decide that that's what our lives are like every day. And I think they would kind of be a little bored at some of the day-to-day of the artist's life. Like, a lot of it is just networking and relationship building and data management and researching our targets and staying in touch with people and building those bridges and staying on top of the trends in our industry. And a lot of that, of course, craft work and changing things up in our tools, like all of that work is not terribly glamorous. What they think about is walking on the red carpet and who are you wearing, and all the things that happen at the award shows and all the things that, of course, can be a part of our lives, but for the most part are not. Even the people who win awards and who are on all the red carpets answering who you're wearing, that's not their average day. That day is still a very unique day of theirs. Kirst says, have you booked anything yet? Have you booked anything yet? And when are you going to make a living with this? That make a living with this is a really interesting question, because even people who are series regulars are not making a living at acting most of the year. And I think that that's one of the things that we have to do to equip our friends and family members and relatives and everyone else's, these curious onlookers, these civilians. I think part of what our job is to equip them with information about what an average day is actually like. Even someone who's a series regular is unemployed half the year. And she doesn't know if the contract's going to get renewed next year. She doesn't know if the network's going to drop the show. So she has to be incredibly clever about how she invests that money that comes in for that first big booking, because it does not equal forever. And most people would think, well, now you've made it. Now you've been in a magazine, you've been on an award show, you've been on a talk show. Your name has been floated out there in TMZ land. Like, people know who you are. You now have a blue check mark in all your social media places. You now have made it. So now your life is different. And it's like, actually, the life is very, very, very similar to the work before that happens. The only thing that's different is you can get meetings easier. You can get into rooms faster, but you still have the same struggle. You still have the same experience of not having roles and auditioning for them and putting yourself out there and doing all the work and maybe not booking it and having that emotional reaction to, I didn't book it, after you probably put a lot of work into it and put your heart into it. And that very real roller coaster exists even for people who have made it. So I think one of the jobs that we have as artists is to equip our friendlies with how to speak to us, what kinds of things they need to know about the reality of our world so that we're able to have a conversation with one another where we're even on the same level about it. Okay, let me see here. Chris says at Facebook, my brother last month told me I'm too old for this business. When are you going to grow up and get a real job? Man, that sucks. Man, that sucks, Chris, especially like for it to come from your brother. Like that's a really close relationship. You're too old for this business. And so this is where I love the data. This is where self-management for actors actually has it all figured out. Go to the data. Someone older than you is making it right now. Someone older than you has just had their first breakout role. Someone older than you is becoming a hit right now. The data is out there. So there's no such thing as you're too old for this, because there's not a date at which stories stop needing people. We need people of all ages. Certainly there are more roles for certain age clusters. That doesn't mean that the majority equals zero for everything else. It just means those roles are fewer and farther between. Good news. There's also attrition. There are fewer people still at it at a certain age. So there's less competition. So it's still the same percentage all the way through. And the data really backs that up. And so I love when we can get our family members, our friends, our civilian people out there who want to talk to us about our business aware of the actual data. That can actually be pretty empowering. And so one of the things I really like to do is teach family, especially people that you know you're always going to have this conversation with. Like if my Aunt Hetty had been the type that I could sit down with and have this talk with, I would have said, let's go on to IMDb Pro together, Aunt Hetty. Let's look at this website and let me show you some things. And I would have shown her some of the more famous people out there and how long before they were known they had bookings on IMDb Pro that no one ever heard about, that no one remembers that little one-line co-star. Nobody remembers that tiny little role that they did. Just yesterday, I was watching Watch What Happens Live, which is one of my favorite shows for Brand Prov, and it's on Bravo. And it's a late-night talk show with Andy Cohen, and they always do a bunch of drinking games and things that are really great for Brand Prov. So it's a really fun show to watch just for imagining, like, how would I answer that? How would I answer that? It's really good. And Kristen Davis was on, and it was her first time on the show, so they go to the vault, and they show her first ever acting job. And she's so young, and it's a horrible slasher horror movie, like horrible. And she's going, ah! And it's so schlocky and wonderful and horrible. And I'm like, nobody thinks of her and then thinks of that role. Like almost nobody even saw that. But that is the truth of what it looks like at the beginning. There's horrible footage of me out there from the early roles that I did as an actor. And I freaking love coming across some of that stuff because it reminds me that we all start somewhere. And educating your family that it's not what Meryl Streep makes it look like. It's not what Denzel makes it will look like. It's not what... oh, who else? Like anybody that they want to point to, because everybody always has someone that they point to when it comes to you. Like, oh, why don't you just, mine was when I was in my 20s. It was, you need to do what Sandra Bullock is doing. You need to do what Julia Roberts is doing. And I'm like, sure. But that's what, because here's someone who's white woman in her 20s, and they would go, you need to be doing what she's doing. You need to go get a movie like that bus movie. You need to go get a movie like that. I'm like, that's what I need to do. Exactly. Yeah. Van says, why don't you just do a commercial? Like you could just do that. Like just go get a commercial. Think of what that actor's life was actually like and educate your family about what those humble beginnings look like, and say the kinder thing we can do here is not compare me where I sit right now with that most famous person that you can think of and where you see them today. Instead, either go back in time and look at where they were much closer to the beginning of their game, because I'm still at the beginning of my game, or look at someone whose name you don't actually know yet, who is just a tier above where I am right now. And so this is who we call your pace cars. You take a look at your pace cars, and these are the people who are keeping pace. Those people who are just a tier ahead of you, doing the kind of thing that you want to do, telling the kind of stories that you want to tell, working with the kind of people that you want to work with, but not yet famous, because they have way more in common with you. And if you can educate your family to start looking at things like that and to notice the web of trust and those relationships that people have built for sometimes decades before they hit, before they make it, before they ever got to quit their job. Y'all, I still had a survival job until 2007. That same year that Aunt Hetty died, 2007, was the year that the small textbook publishing company that I worked for got sold. And when they got bought out by a major publishing house, and everyone got fired. So we got brought into the small publishing house here in LA and got told, you're done. Here's your severance package. Thank you for, and severance package was based on how long we had been with them. And I'd been working with them since 2000. So I'd had 7 years with this company, and it was gone. And I'm like, I can't believe that that's the last of my actor survival jobs. And by then, the book Self-Management for Actors was going into its 3rd edition. The book had been out since 2003. I'd been casting since 2003. I'd been interviewing casting directors since 1999 before I had the job at the publishing company. But I still had an actor survival job, because that is how you do your work when you are an artist. You string together a bunch of things that make it so you can pay your rent. And I realized in 2007, I was like, it's a new day. I'm about to not have the safety net of a paycheck coming in that I can count on. And of course, at that time, I still had a weekly column, and I had a weekly column up till 2015. And that was a weekly paycheck coming in. But to me, that was still like, that's not a survival job. That's freelance. That's writing. Writing is just as poof go away as anything else. And sure enough, in 2015, when that job went away, I was like, that's a quarter of our household income that just went away like that. You can run an empire and still have that artist anxiety of it's all going to go away. And so getting everybody on board for, yes, this is what the normal of my lifestyle looks like, is part of your job. And the more you educate them, the kinder they can be with the kinds of conversations they have, because they're curious. They're never going to stop asking questions. But let's get them asking better questions. Let's get them asking questions that are, have you gone up a tier? Have you met new people that you're excited about? Have you gone further down the road of your true north? Are you building relationships with people that you're excited to work with for decades? Are you producing your own content? Like, get them asking questions about things that really matter, rather than, when are you going to make a living at this? Because nobody knows. And even once you are making a living at it, it can all go away. Aaron says, I had a family member ask me, they paid you that much when you booked a commercial and only worked 3 days? Aaron, that's right. Yes, I did, with years of targeting work for this. Yes, Aaron, in those 3 days, you got paid for years of all the work that I've seen you putting in. So I know you earned every bit of that and all the residuals to come. Yes, very good. But for sure, family can't wrap their head around that, because that much for 3 days work is insane. And in their lives, they're getting paid for a lot of the kinds of days that we don't get paid for. And that's why we get paid so well when we show up. Your first job on a union set as a co-star on television is 4 figures. Your first job is over $1,000 for a day, for a line. Like, where else can that be your first job, right? Yes, I want to have impact, Melissa. I say that. Like, that is a biggie for me. It's like, I don't want to be famous. I want to have impact. Yes, I want to have impact. I want my work to matter. And I know that it does. I know it already does. I know I have already changed lives all over the world. I know that if I walk outside, get hit by a bus today, I had a good run. So I love that I started making impact with my work from the very beginning. And you can do that too. You can make choices about the work you say yes to and the work you say no to, very important, that allows you to build the stories you were born to tell, allows you to have impact in life. Amy Beth says, hi, Amy, first live stream. Welcome. So glad you could join in. Lived my life with fear of taking chances and really following my dreams. I realized that I let my family's fear of not being safe and secure affect my decisions. Girl, whew, take a breath. That fed into my feelings of inadequacy. After 20 years, I'm overcoming the fear of going for it and feeling enough in myself. Honey, my heart hugs your heart, sweetheart. I so get this. I can handle rejection much better as well. Good. My family pretends like they support me, but I know they think I'm crazy and think that I should just be a mom and a wife. Oh, honey, listen, I had people bugging me about the mom thing until it just was like, it's not physically possible. Like, they really, like, I had family members who, oh my gosh, would say, so so no kids? Really? No kids? And I'm like, I said when I was 10, I don't want kids. Like, what? How has this ever been a conversation? Like, in my life, that has always been like a not interested. I mean, sorry, kids. You're adorable because I don't have to live with you. Oh my God. Like, I have always been a no kids person. And so the fact that then the family was like, once I was at the age where you should be having a biological clock ticking around now, I'm like, I is something wrong with me because I'm not having that like regret of, oh God, no, what have I done? Like, if I knew that I would want that, I would have prepared for that. I would have planned for it. I would have made sure that it happened. Like, believe me, it's so interesting that's something, Amy Beth, and I know you're newer to my world. So, I don't know how much you know about what we do, but there's a group that I work with that's called, it's a mastermind called Expansive Capacity. And one of the things that we had one month as a topic, we do a deep dive on an enoughness topic every month. And a few months back, we did your relationship with expectations. And woo! I think we're going to have to revisit this one in 2020 for a deeper dive, because expectations, y'all, other people's expectations then become our expectations. And when we really separate those two and ask ourselves about our own expectations, like, maybe they're not at all the same as other people's, but we let other people's expectations like dictate choices that we make in our lives. And why? Then we wake up wondering why we're not happy, which, by the way, is next month's topic, your relationship with happiness. Because one of the questions that we have, especially for some of our more successful ninjas in the community, is what if I get everything that I've always wanted and I'm still not happy? It's another take a breath one. So we're going to do a deep dive on your relationship with happiness. Oh my goodness gracious. All right. So back to Amy Beth's comment here. I think it's frivolous. They think it's frivolous. And I'm being selfish. I'm learning not to let it bother me anymore. Sweetheart, here, you're welcome. I'm happy to share my inspiration and help. I'm glad that it is helping. What I'm going to ask you to do is ask yourself, what are my expectations versus what are their expectations? And there's a really good way to handle that. I get to fulfill my expectations. You get to fulfill your expectations. Your expectations for me, I can't control that. You're going to have those, but I don't have to live by those. Ever. And we've already chosen a pretty rebellious life by choosing. Do you like that word I just made up? We've already chosen a rebellious life by choosing to go into show business, by choosing to be storytellers for a living. Yep. Does anyone get asked, how's your hobby? Van. Ooh, that's just mean. How's your hobby? I don't know. How's your porn addiction, Uncle Ted? Aaron, I love it when they do that. We all started somewhere. We all started somewhere. I love that. You're talking about on Bravo with the like, go to the vault. It's like those moments. I cherish those because it's like, y'all, look where we all started. Amy says, my discussions with my mother have shifted completely since I started talking to her about pace cars. She's helping me find them. Amy, awesome. Oh my God, I celebrate that. That is fantastic. That is kudos to you, Amy, because it means that you've been equipping your mother with the tools to be a more supportive family member to you as you live out your dreams. Fabulous. Perfect example. Awesome. If you want to share, Amy, a little bit more about how you got her into pace cars, like how you educated her a little bit about that, that would be amazing. I'd love to know. Kathy, yes, I want to change lives. I want my work to affect people and touch them. Kathy, it already does. You know this, and you know this, which then takes the pressure off the next thing because it's like, it's already done. It's already done. Melissa says, I honestly feel like that sometimes. Should I be married? Should I have kids? But then I remind myself that I'm way too ambitious for all that right now. Kathy says, happiness, expectations, how they intersect. So interesting. True. Tell me what other things we can share about how to equip the fam for how to have better conversations with us. Setting the expectations. Like, what does a good actor year look like? I'm farther along than I was last year. I have better footage than I had this time last year. I have more on-brand headshots than I had this time last year. My resume is more focused for where I'm headed than it was this time last year. My website is more clearly a representation of me and my brand as a storyteller than it was last year. My craft has improved since this time last year. My relationships with agents, managers, producers, directors, showrunners, casting directors, writers, fellow actors, all improving. I've cleared out the clutter of lower tier attachments. I'm no longer with that theater company that I thought I had to stay with because it represents a place in my life that I started, but it's not where I'm headed. I'm no longer training with that coach who needed to crush my soul and then build me back up. I'm instead working with someone who's actually helping me be my best without having to break me down to get me there. What kinds of metrics can we use to really think about what a good year looks like? What does a good year look like in an actor's life? Besides, I booked a national. I booked my first network co-star, or I went from co-star to guest star, or I was in a movie that made it to Sundance Film Festival, or I got nominated for an award, or whatever. Like, those are the big ones. Easy. That's easy to say that was a good actor year. What is a good actor year before then? Let's talk about that. Networking has grown, Kathy says. Producing my first film and never dreamed I'd be doing this since this time last year. Melissa, that's great. And I've seen you put in the work, sweetheart. I know. I've seen you put in the work. Fabulous. Amy says, back to Pace Car and educating the fam. Amy says, I actually sat down with my parents and explained clearly that I was serious and I need their support. It almost felt like an intervention. Amy, that's amazing. Then I began showing them the targeting I was doing. I love it. Oh my God, Amy, those are some practical fucking tips right there. Y'all write that down. That is good. Ryan, more confidence in myself. I'm calling you Ryan, even though it says Shan Ryan Angel, because Ryan Angel is a friend of ours, but I think she's traveling today. I think she's traveling to Paris today, in fact. So I wonder, are you Shan? Are you Shan Ryan Angel? Are you Ryan Angel? Are you another Ryan Angel in our life? That's amazing. Kathy, putting together some content to produce, or actually producing content, moving anything along the production pipeline. It's a miracle anything ever gets produced, ever. All you have to do is try and produce something once, and you will go, how does anything ever get produced? Okay, Shannon, thank you. Thank you, Shannon, for introducing yourself. I'm glad you're here. Kirst, getting called into the same casting office multiple times. Yes. Well, Shannon, we have a friend named Ryan Angel, who that is her name. And this is amazing that your name is Shannon Ryan Angel with a hyphen and you're Ryan and Angel. Like, y'all should start a club. That needs to be a show. Like, immediately I'm going, that Aaron would be like, write that. That's a show. More confidence in myself. Yeah, I love that. Kirst, getting called into the same casting office multiple times, because that means somebody's like, riding their motorcycle out here. That means that you have increased your fan base, that they love what you're doing and they want you back in again and they're looking for opportunities to cast you. That is amazing. I love it. What else? What are some other examples of things that make the measure of this has been a good year? I'm going to put a link. I think I can. Amy is going to put a link. That's not it. That's the wait list. I'm going to leave this here for a second, though. If you want to go here and get on the wait list, we're going to be opening up our membership in December. So you can get on the wait list now at this link, and then we'll let you know when we're going to be opening up our membership, because we now are only opening our membership in December to join us in January for the first of the year. And so we're restructuring everything, and it's a whole new way of getting in our membership. So you have to get on the wait list. If you're not already on it, join there. And Aaron will drop this link in the, not Aaron, Amy. I don't have Aaron today. Amy will put the link in the Facebook version of the comments. Oh, and I forgot to say at the top of the episode, if you're watching in replay somewhere other than Facebook, put hashtag replay in the comments over at Facebook, and I will come answer your comments in replay, because we leave the comments open there. But what I wanted to give you was this one only says .com. Let me see. Can I type in here? I can type in here. I am going to send you, if you do not have all your goodies organized, There. If you want to spend 11 days getting your tools and your mindset tuned up, I just listed off all those things, like my resume is more finely tuned, my website looks like it's on brand for me, my footage is better than it was a year ago, my headshots are extremely targeted, I understand my brand. If this is all stuff that you're like, oh, I don't have that together, I have free training right here. Because while we are closed for people coming into the into the membership space and the overhaul of the new membership space, I want to make sure that y'all have the opportunity to get some free training from me. So here's where you can get some free support. Go to this link right now. Check your inbox when you sign up. Make sure that you get all the emails. You get an email a day every day for 11 days that will take you through one element of this work at a time. Totally free. You're welcome. Just thank me when you hold up something gold and shiny and we'll call it even. And this will get you going with that, because I definitely want you to have all of your tools as fine looking as possible. Especially because as we're nearing the end of the year, you want to start the new year as strongly as possible, right? Amy Beth says, getting asked to do another project by a director I worked with before. That is one of my favorite. Repeat business. Because that means not only did you do an excellent job in the role itself, but you didn't cost them money. And at the end of the day, this is a money business. And if you did not cost them money, if you helped them make their day and you were a pleasure to deal with on set, that director wants you back again. Whew, that is money in the bank. Repeat business. That's another thing you can educate your family about, is taking a look at IMDb Pro and looking at how many people work with the same people over and over and over again, and really start to see that the relationships you're building now may not be like, David O. Russell and Bradley Cooper and Kristen Lawrence yet, but you are at your tier doing a version of that. And as people move up and move up and move up, we bring each other up together. That's why relationship building is so valuable. Emily. Hi, Emily. Setting my standards with my agent and not letting them dictate what I go out for, who I shoot with. Oh, honey, yes. Setting that no line with your team, making sure that they're on board for taking you out to that true north and not wasting your time with any of the shit that's off the path. Yes, ma'am. That is big. I celebrate you on that. Cursed, getting called in without a breakdown. They request you specifically, personally. Yes, when they know that you're right for the role and they don't even put out the breakdown. Direct call. That's the best. That's the best. Oh my God, I love that from a casting perspective. When I'm casting something and I start thinking of like, oh, who do I want for this? And I immediately think of actors that I know. And if I can just go straight out to them and go, can you go on tape for this? Can you just do something for me real quick and let me show it to the producer that hired me? And then we don't even have to hold auditions because I just know the person that's perfect for it. Oh my God, it's so great. It's so great. It's so great. Tanya, hey, gorgeous. Congrats on more goodness with your film. Oh my God. Finishing a 2-year film festival with one film, in post with another. Spent 90% of my income making theater and being on set, being fucking happy even when life's been a roller coaster. So Tanya, that's the key. Because if we can be happy when life is a roller coaster, we know we can be happy whenever things get better, we don't spin out because we're happy whenever. That's, if you go back to last week's episode, even though we had a lot of tech issues last week, so the episode got kind of janky. I'm going to redo that topic at some point because the episode did get really janky and hard to watch. Just tech. Hey, Mercury retrograde, how you doing? We were talking about the 5 levels of enoughness through the lens of how are you about good things and bad things that happen? And at level 5 enoughness, you're able to go, something good happened. Cool. Something bad happened. Cool. Like you have 0 crash or high based off the outer things that are happening in life, because they're just things. And they're always going to be things. Oh, I fucking love that. Way to go, Tanya. Joey, good to see you, sweetheart. I used this whole year to create on-brand content, on-brand reel, on-brand headshots, clearer targeting, getting better at the craft, always working on the mindset. The turnaround from last year has been amazing. Joey, I celebrate you, sweetheart. Oh my God, that's amazing. Oh my God, that's so good. What a great commitment to yourself for the year. Fabulous. And so you are already on such solid ground to make 2020 a fantastic launch pad. I fucking love that. 9, I hope I'm saying your name right. Gig is now a part of my Christmas tradition. So happy to hear it. So 9, need to do it sooner than Christmas because we're actually going to close it off as a part of our coming into the membership reopening. So make sure if it's something that you plan to do every year, go ahead and sign up for it now, because I don't want you to miss it. We used to do it as the last 11 days of the year, and we're not doing that this year. We're doing something that's much kinder to my team's schedule and our ability to manage all the stuff that's coming in at once, and also have a little bit of a holiday of our own. So we're doing it a lot earlier. So come on in and just join now. Let me put that up on the screen one more time. Tink, tinky, tink, tink, clicky, clicky. I know you can't click my screen. Oh, actually you can, because I think my team also makes it so you can click my screen when you're looking at this in YouTube later. Oh my God. We have so many cool bells and whistles now. It's like I feel all grown up with my tech. It's amazing. Kathy says, I love working with good actors and just making offers. Yes. Yes. Okay, Melissa, go make your money at that survival job. Good job, Joey. Linda, hi, sweetheart. Been feeling lost the last couple of months. Oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry to hear that. Like so off balance, feeling so far from myself and my acting career. Not sharing, just complaining. No, I get that, Linda. You're not a complainer. I know. There's a very different vibe when somebody just needs to like vomit their brain mess. I don't get that feeling from you at all. I am going to do another bit of free training, I think as a part of this year-end stuff that we're putting together that is specifically about how to weather the downs. I did a survey in our Facebook group. Our Facebook group is on hiatus to new posting right now, but we are still there. And so old threads are getting bumped up. And I did put out a poll asking what you might want to have me focus on, like what feels like a big issue for you. And at the top of the list was like, I want to make sure I'm not wasting my time. So we're definitely going to do some more training about actor busy work, even though we just did some training about that a couple months ago. It's something that we can always find time for talking about, because you want to make sure you're not wasting your fucking time. Because come on, like there's just so much noise out there about what needs to be done, and most of it's not true. So we're going to get through the bull on that and get very clear about what needs to be done. And then the one right after that was how to get out of a slump, how to get out of an actor funk, how to deal with the downs. And I have a kit that I've created for y'all that I'm actually hoping to get finished today. Maybe today. It depends on how my next meeting goes. But my plan is to get that finished and ready to get out into the world for y'all for free this week, because I want you to have a kit to help you get through the holidays in particular, and those times when you just feel kind of low and you're like, what's it all for? And I really want you to know that this is normal, and that part of the way we use the self-management for actors principles to fight this is we don't fight it. We acknowledge it. We know that it's coming, and we go, great, how can I fortify against it in a way that makes it have less impact? So it's not about how do I ever avoid feeling down, because that's not realistic. But what is realistic is how can I turn the volume on this down just a little so that it doesn't feel so awful? And that's what we are going to go for. Cool? So I got you covered, Linda. You came to the right place. Anything else y'all want to share with me, celebrate, talk about talking with family, equipping them with ways to be able to speak to you about your career so that it doesn't come across as they're not supporting you? Because keep in mind, they do want to support you. They're curious people. They're not trying to hurt you when they say, do you think you're ever going to make a living at this? When are you going to stop this foolishness and come home? Like, these kinds of questions are not meant to hurt you. They are meant to support you and make sure that you are safe and happy. So I want to end on this, and any last questions, get them in here, because I know there's a little bit of a lag, but I'm going to finish on this for sure, which is, y'all, if you are not appearing happy about your life choices when you're in front of these people, you are making them ask you, are you sure this is the right choice? Are you sure you shouldn't give this up? Why don't you get a real job? When do you think you might get married and have babies and work in a bank? Like, the reason these types of supportive conversations happen this way is because they do not perceive you are happy with all the ups and downs of your creative career. So your work is to make sure that they understand it looks scary as hell. And I love it. I'm not complaining. I am not gutted when I don't get a role. I am not an emotional wreck about the realities of this business, because this business is exactly as advertised. There is nobody that sold you a line of bull about how easy it's going to be an actor. You knew going in, this shit's hard. You're going to get rejected all the time. You're going to get told no. You're going to get told no with stoppers that you think you got to run around and fix, which is not true. You knew that going in. It's only if you go home and cry about how hard it is and tell them how tough it is and complain about the struggle that you are handing them all the words to use against you when they are trying to be supportive and they are asking you, if it's this hard, could you possibly make a better choice? So your job is to say, I know this looks terrifying. I love it anyway. I would never trade it. I know I'm crying right now because I didn't get a job. I know I really wanted that role and I thought it was mine, and I am feeling bad about it. I know that this does not look good. I know it makes you think that you need to fix something. I'm telling you now, this is me living my dreams. Yes, Tina, even if you're Asian, absolutely. Your work is to educate your parents, no matter what culture you come from, that this is what happiness looks like in my life. And what you wanted for me, I know you may have labeled it, you want me to be a doctor, you want me to be a lawyer, you want me to be a teacher, you want me to be an inventor, you want me, like, you may have had some very specific criteria for what you think success looks like. But what you really want for me is you want me to be happy. And I'm telling you that even though there are ups and downs in this creative career, I'm happy. I am so happy with this life choice. I know it doesn't look like it right now because I'm crying over this role that I didn't get, but I always allow myself to feel these emotions because better out than in. So I'm going to feel these emotions, but tomorrow I'm going to be fine. And tomorrow I'm going to go out for another audition, and I'm going to take another meeting, and I'm going to write another page in my screenplay, and I'm going to get there. And thank you for supporting me in these dreams. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for being on board for how cool this is that I get to do this for a living. That's your job as an artist. We teach them, yes, exactly. We teach them what's okay. Yep. Emily says, my family went from calling it my acting thing to coming on board and being supportive beyond my dreams. Tonight, my former biggest critics are coming to support my directorial debut. Tonight. Emily, honey, amazing. Congrats on your directorial debut. Laura says, I'm an oversharer by nature. I love more than anything giving my friends and family an inside peek at the business. People love it and feel special. Yeah. All you have to do is teach people. Like, oh, look, that character that just came on screen. That's the Basil Exposition character. Because, of course, they know from, what the hell is it? Austin Powers, the Basil Exposition character. Like, that's what that character is in every story. It's like, here's the one that comes in for no reason other than to answer some questions for the audience. Look, here's the inciting incident. Like, teaching them how to deconstruct what's going on, especially about the business side of it. Give them a copy of Self-Management for Actors, for fuck's sake. Let them learn the business, because it is different. It is different. They see how much I believe in myself, and we've had some very honest and at times brutal conversations about it. It took time, but it was worth it. Emily, well done. We'll end on that. Congrats. Congrats. And kill it tonight. I am so excited for you. For everyone, this is great. Congrats to all of you who came in and shared some really cool stuff that's going on. Thank you for joining me for this week's broadcast. We will do it again next week. We're going to do something a little woo-woo next week. We're going to be talking about the woo-woo calendar as we close out the last week of Mercury retrograde. It gets intense toward the end, so next week will be very interesting. Remember, give everything a lot of extra time, all right? Mercury retrograde, full moon today. It's like super intense energy. If you've not yet done your full moon ritual, there's still time. Make sure that you let go of anything, especially because it's a Taurus full moon. Make sure that you let go of anything that's feeling specifically sticky around big picture plans that you thought would pay off earlier this year, that it's time to just declutter and let some of that go. Because the intensity of the Scorpio sun lets us see to the bottom of things. It's really intense and really clear about what the dark underbelly of things is. And then Taurus, of course, is all about those pleasures and those comforts and those big long-term plans. And so it's a great time to release attachment to anything that you thought was going to come together that it doesn't look like it's going to work before the end of the year. Just release it. And then if it was meant to come together, it'll return. as the saying goes. You're welcome, Eva. My pleasure. You are absolutely welcome, Tina. You're absolutely welcome, Emily. Thank you all for joining. I really appreciate y'all. We will do it again next week. And until next time, stay ninja. Bye.